All right, so I'm going to give a brief tutorial on how to edit a video after you have pretty much recorded through the Camtasia software. Now, I did this in room 208, and I utilized one of our little R2D2 stationary little cylinder cameras in order for me to get the test footage and then to show you guys how to actually make adjustments to it to kind of mimic what I've done in the past. So, and also special thanks to Matthew Marquette for showing me all this fun stuff. Anyway, so as you see, I've recorded, and now when you do a recording through Camtasia using an external camera, it's going to record a screen and also the video itself. So they actually end up being these two different tracks that come down here. Now with me wanting a pure video, not doing a tutorial-based session or anything like that, I don't need this screen share, so I can simply just delete it. And now I'm left with simply my video, where I can take from here and I can extrapolate it larger to make it fit within this box setting, and it'll pretty much take over the entire screen that way. All right, so now I'm just going to be editing the video itself with me discussing emotional intelligence. Now, if you want to do a fun introduction like you saw in my past videos, you pretty much can do it right from these sections over here. You just simply go to library, and there's going to be a little folder for intros, and you'll double click them, and they'll give you a few. And I'm going to use the one I've been using, which is this one right here. And then all you pretty much have to do is sorry about that, but it's going to show you the video if you want to see what it looks like. It's going to tell that sequence of it, and I can take it and I can move it down here, and it becomes my introduction. So what I can do is I can start to move this over like that, and then that takes over as the starting point. And you can either overlay it, put it down there, but I keep it typically separate tracks so it makes it easier for me to edit. And then the theme you can change here. The title I can change to be what I'm talking about, which is emotional intelligence. And then, all right, and then I can change the color scheme or priorities or anything I need to do in that sequence and aspects there. So then when I do this is now that I've added my introduction, I can go back and I can see how this is going to play just by hitting play. And then my introduction has been added. And then once
essential part of being a proper leader and manager. Now, emotional intelligence.
All right, so what I've done is I've created an introduction that will lead into my video starting. Now, there's also some areas that you can do for transition. Like I always like to do a small transition for fade to black, and I like to add that down in this sequence as well. You attach the fade to black to the different areas, so cooperate. All right, so I put it like here. That way, what ends up happening is when the video is shooting, when it hits that area, it's going to like fade, and then
essential part of being a proper leader.
Now, if I want it to also fade to black to me, I'll put it on my side as well, and then that way it'll fade. And
essential part of being a proper leader and manager.
But that doesn't really come out too well. So what I'm going to do is I don't like that, so I'm going to get rid of this. I don't like that being in there, so we're going to get rid of it. There, highlight it, and I got rid of it. So now it's just a simple fade to black, and then I'll start talking here. If I want like an outro, you can also go to library for that portion of it. And now I'm still in introduction, so I can drop that down. But I can also do outros, which is that sequence you saw at the end. And I can take this and I can move it down here, and it can be part of my ending part of the video. And then if I want to see what it looks like, I scroll over. And, well, I also need to edit me turning it off. And so, as you see, like my part of the video, I stopped talking here.
Really putting emphasis on it to make it work that way.
The cool part is I can simply just take this part here and I can just move it back to where I want to. So now it will end with me talking before I start moving. And I can get really granular with it. And if I need to zoom, I can simply move this up, and I get even more granular as far as like the seconds to it, so I can really see a lot easier as far as like making the edits if I need to be very, very specific on timing of it.
Okay, make it work then.
Let's see, let me move it right there. Let's see how that works.
Really putting emphasis on it to make it work.
All right, just a little bit longer, and then now that I've got that set, I can move my outro back to where I want it. And then now when it gets to here, it's going to move into there. And I can put the text in there. So I can keep it for thanks for watching, and then I can add my Dr. Mark Smith, my email address, and then I don't need any of the rest of this, so I can just delete these and they'll fall off. Oh man, that didn't mean to do that. Oh well. Well, I accidentally deleted it, so I'll have to redo it. But now to end it, that's not that big of a deal because I can simply just attach it again and then fix it. Yep, as Dr. Smith, and then my email. Very good. Delete, 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 and then now it's in there. So now when my video ends, it'll go into
make it work out.
And it'll hold. And then if I think that's too long, I can simply just make this a little bit shorter, and then it'll end a little bit faster than the sequence that was put into there. Now, if you saw my video, I also did graphics within it. Now, to do that, it's actually very easy as well. You just go back to the library portions. We get out of outros, and there's going to be an area that says lower thirds. You double-click this, and then you can take that and bring it down and add it where you want to as well. And then that way, like as I start my video,
essential part of being a proper leader and manager.
Here,
now, emotional intelligence in a nutshell
that portion
is being able to assess.
And then all I have to pretty much do from here is change out my setup, and then put that in there, and then now it's going to hold there for as long as I need it to. And then
an emotional state of a situation and integrate yourself into
now, if I see that, now if I don't like the coloring of it, like that peach and white doesn't really show up that well, I can change the coloring schemes out as well. So I can change the coloring from that. Maybe I'll make it green. Oh no, that's weird. Yeah, I can adjust the colors. All right, there. Now I'm adjusting. I can adjust the text colors here. So if I want Program Champion to pop out more because I think the green will show better, I can do that. Or I can, if I don't think that works very well, I can make it black. If that's not really working it too well, change it out whatever color I want it to be. So I can always pick one as well. So I can pick off the gradient and figure out how I want it to be. If I want it to be like red. There, and then the red seems to show up a little bit better. And then if I want to change that portion of it, because I don't think that's doesn't show up very well. White doesn't work out at all, but I can make it maybe green, or I can match it and also make it red. So let's do that. Match the color best I can, and then there we go. But I can do it that way if I want to, and that way it shows up a little bit better on the sequencing. And then that way, if you notice, like when I start the video again, it'll pop up
being a proper leader and manager. Now, emotional intelligence in a nutshell is being able to assess an emotional state of a situation and integrate yourself into it using proper communication tactics and understanding for the person or group that you are working with.
And then what I've done pretty much is I've easily just made a video that has an introduction, it has my lower thirds being added to it, and that sequencing put through to it as well. So that's how easy it is to make a video of that sequencing. And so now that I've pretty much finished out how I wanted to make this video, I can move on and share it if I want to. And then I can share it directly to YouTube, and then that will make it into a YouTube station, so that way I can actually use that link to implement into my shells, my classes as well. And that's that.